forward to our next topic.
Sports.
The Atlanta Falcons have announced, and that's the entire NFL, not just the Atlanta Falcons, right? I get the email from the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't believe it's the entire NFL.
No?
No, and it's not just the Atlanta Falcons either. But we are focusing on NFL right now. But it is
so as far
anyone
as
that plays in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So Atlanta Falcons and United. So yes, please go on.
So they decide. So they announced that they're going to be fan-free, and that's just to start off the season. Obviously, before that, the entire NFL canceled the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
The trainings have been closed, so hasn't been any fans at the trainings. I don't know if you used to go to the trainings. I used to go to. I tried to go to the trainings at least like once a year.
Never have.
No, never. I'm not gonna say it's a great experience. It's just an experience. If you're a fan, you get to be like, oh, I think I just saw Julio. So it's not. You're not really missing out. I don't think on anything completely like extraordinary, but it's still fun to go see if you're a fan of.
Yeah, I've been to a kick around for Atlanta United, but never Falcons training.
Oh, okay. All right. So they announced that. So the thing that we wanted. So obviously the last podcast we talked about the chances of football. You said that you didn't think there was going to be any football starting off. You had a feeling that it was going to be canceled completely. Forgot the percentage. I think you were like being like optimistically at 98% cancellation.
Whoa. No, sir.
I said that I think it'll happen and then possibly it'll be canceled as it goes. But looking at the other sports, has there been any recancellations of any sports yet? Because there hasn't, right? Because it seems like baseball got it under control because they were obviously having a lot of corona outbreaks. Mm-hmm. But I haven't heard anything about it in the last like 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And then the same way, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah. So I play fantasy baseball, so I see those things come up all the time. Zeus is rolling his eyes because of his feelings towards fantasy sports. Anyway, so there have been like cases here and there, but not as sporadic as I think 2 weeks ago. The Marlins were getting full-on series being postponed. Mm-hmm. I think the Phillies as well. The Yankees, as a result of the fact that they had to play the Phillies, they got their series postponed. Now I think maybe within the last 2 weeks, maybe one game has been postponed. So that's a positive sign. But the other thing too is baseball is not in a bubble, and they're getting it under control. So with the NBA in a bubble, we're not likely to see any cases because, I mean, you're already in there, right? I don't think the NFL is going to adopt a bubble mentality.
It seems like the teams are, though, because, Atlanta Falcons, I believe they cut somebody because he let somebody into his into the locker room or something.
Really? I know that happened with another team, too.
I think it was the Atlanta Falcons. Or was that the NBA? No, I think it was the Atlanta Falcons. I think they cut somebody.
No, there was someone that let someone into a hotel room.
Yes, that's what it is. I'm sorry.
But it wasn't the Falcons.
It wasn't the Falcons?
Eagles? I don't think so. It sounds like Eagles or
Seahawks. I'm gonna go with it was one of the bird teams.
Seahawks. I think you're actually right. I think it is
really?
the Seahawks. Yeah.
Add that to the corrections for
yeah, we'll correct it. But let me give you my new percentage, right? All right. So last week I said I was very evasive about it. I said I am 30%. No, I am 70% convinced that there will be a season, which means I'm 30% convinced that there won't be a season.
Okay.
I've dropped that 30 to about 20, and the main reason is there was a New York lab that had a bunch of positive cases come back for coronavirus from New Jersey lab. Sorry.
Everything happens in Jersey.
Right. I've only been there once. Probably will only be there once my entire life. So anyway,
no.
I'm kidding. It's probably a beautiful place. Sorry to my Jersey folk out there. So apparently that lab all those positive cases they came back with, which was some high number, like in the dozens, apparently they were all false positives. None of those people had coronavirus, right? So
they were like, Trump, what does Trump say? Falsely, positively.
yeah, trending positively towards the negative, or
Yeah.
something like that. So the reason why I'm dropping my percentage down is this gives the NFL, renewed confidence that, okay, we've got this under control. Even where we have positives, they aren't really positives. And it means that for the large parts, the teams have been doing the right things, which should be commended. It's like commending someone for brushing their teeth every morning. But as we've seen, it's not always something that you can just assume is going to happen. So we should commend these NFL teams for taking the right precautions and staying healthy. So I think the season will probably happen.
Okay. Do you think it'll be canceled?
Like halfway through or something? Yeah. I still think there's a high potential for that. I think
the season doesn't get past week 8. The problem with football is you really can't. The NFL feels like they can't cut it. They can't cut the season, right? Even though I think they could. You could easily remove. So if anybody knows, some people don't know how the NFL formula works. You place in whatever. So you place in your division. You go against a division that's intra-conference, which is an NFC division faces an AFC division. All 4 teams face each other, and then there's an interconference one, which is the NFC. An NFC team faces an NFC division. An NFC division faces an NFC division. AFC division faces an AFC division. There's a set of 4. Then there's within your own division, you play the other 3 teams in your division 3 times.
Yeah.
So there's
twice.
Twice. I'm sorry. Yeah. You play the 3 teams play them twice. Play each other.
You're spinning me in circles right now.
My bad. So that equals up to 14 games.
16.
No, I haven't included the other 2. So the interconference, which is 4.
No.
And then the interconference, those are 8, and then add the other 6 games from within your division. That's a total of 14, because it's so. All right. We're gonna go ahead and real quickly. So
okay,
imagine.
I'm good. Let me try it, and you tell me if I'm correct. Okay. So we'll go with the Atlanta Falcons. Did we finish 3rd in the division?
Let's not go into that first. Let's go first into we're facing the AFC West, I believe.
Okay. So the Atlanta Falcons are in the NFC East.
South.
Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry. NFC South. Yeah. I'm thinking NL East baseball. Where the Atlanta Falcons are in the NFC South, and we're facing the AFC West this season. The AFC West, right? Oh, okay.
No, it is because it's the Denver Broncos, the Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, and the LA Chargers.
Okay, so there are 4 teams in each division. We're facing each of those 4 teams in the AFC West. That's 4 games. Then we have the teams within our division. So the other 3 teams, we're going to play them home and away. So that's 2 games each. So that's 6 games. Yes. So that adds up to the 6 plus the 4. That gives us 10. Wait, did I get that right?
Yeah, you're right. 6.
Yes. Okay, so 6 plus 4, that gives us 10. Yeah. Then let's say we did finish 3rd. I don't remember what that number was, but let's say it was 3rd. If it was 3rd, that means we face the 3rd place team in each of the other NFC divisions, right? So we're NFC South. So we face 3rd in NFC East, 3rd in NFC North, and 3rd in NFC West. Yeah. So that's 3 more games. So that's 13. And then our remaining 3 games, if this year we're facing the NFC East, we're playing the remaining 3 NFC East teams that we haven't already played. Yeah. And that gives us 16.
Yeah. So you said it better than I did. So thank you. So I personally think that what they should have done is adopt something along the lines of, okay, we're gonna have to cut 2 games, cut the division placement. So the you're the third, like you said,
Right.
we place second, by the way. The second.
Okay, second.
So we play second. So we play the other 2 which is that the division that we're playing. So the division as a whole that we're playing against, and within the NFC. So in this case, it's the Seattle Seahawks, and is it the Eagles? We play the North this year, right?
I really don't
Anyways,
know. I haven't looked at it.
so I thought there should have been like, you go from 16 to 14 games. Those are the 2 games that you cut.
So the games that you'd be playing against, the games that are based
because
on
they place
placement.
the same as you.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they
So
place the
those
same
games
as you
you
last
cut
year.
those. And
Yeah, and then after that, if it turns
That's
out,
an
okay,
easy
we're
thing
not
to
cut,
do.
we're not 14. We're gonna cut. We need to cut it down to let's just go with 12.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't play against that one of you don't go against the opposing conference division, right?
Yeah.
You won't go against. And then I was like, you have this option, but the problem is, it just seems like and now I don't know if it's the scheduling conflict, like that like all of a sudden you have to schedule things. I would have been under the assumption, because they knew coronavirus was out. Remember, the coronavirus hit when they did the schedule.
March, yeah.
You would have think that maybe they would have scheduled it, but all this does to me, all this shows, and I hope people stuck through us talking about this scheduling crap, because we didn't do a great job. But I honestly think what this shows is the NFL is always going to be about trying to get as much as they can out of the bucks, right? Bangs for their bucks. That's why they cut the preseason, even though it puts the teams at a disadvantage. But they're saying we want less games, but you're cutting the games that don't make you any money anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You're cutting the preseason game because nobody really watches it. Well, I mean, I try to watch the preseason just the Falcons alone, just to kind of see, like, get an idea of what maybe hopefully the season will be like. But it just shows to me that they just want to cut. They don't want to cut any games because they want to get as much money as they can out of the 16 games. Because one thing that I found surprising is they didn't decide to, so this year they're moving to seven playoff teams. They're doing it this year.
Only the 1 seed gets a bye.
Only the 1 seed gets a bye, which I honestly have always felt it should be that way. I feel like the number 1 seed should be the only one that gets the bye. Because the thing is, though, even if you get the number, some people are like, well, what's the point of you trying to get the number 2 seed? You get the number 2 seed, you win a game, you guaranteed another home game. So, it's just like, there's still a reason to want to go for the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't cut that. They didn't go to 6. That's because they still want to play as many games as possible. So they're about money. So I honestly don't think, so all this was just to say, I don't think the NFL will have as much of an opportunity as baseball, basketball, soccer to still have a full season. It just seems like it's because 16 games in 17 weeks. On top of that, you have another 3 or 4 weeks of
playoffs.
Because the thing is, now you can correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't baseball, basketball, and soccer cut their seasons a little bit shorter than they usually would? Didn't they make them?
Baseball cut from 162 games to 60 games.
See, that's half.
However, their playoffs are extended. I don't understand why they did that though. They went from 5 playoff teams per conference, per league, to 8. I don't know.
I think it's more along the lines of like, we have less games, so let's just allow more teams the opportunity to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because isn't it the same kind of with? No, MLS was kind of like they were just like, no, this is a knockout round. Like they win the knockout right away.
It's going to be shortened too. They did that tournament to count towards regular season games, but also to do the qualification berth for the next year's CONCACAF Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the regular season is going to be shortened still.
Okay.
It's not going to be the normal 34 games.
And what about NBA? That was a little shorter too, right?
Yeah, so I think what they did is there were certain teams that were within range of like qualification for playoffs. Those teams they brought back into the bubble. Anyone that was like effectively eliminated, they're like, all right, there's no need for you to come back. So you can have your summer off or whatever. So in essence, they did reduce the games that way, but now the playoffs have begun.
Okay. Okay. So, and I just don't see how the NFL can't do anything. I don't, well, at least they don't seem to want to do anything like that. They don't want to compensate anything like that, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere, if they said if they had to delay the season, they would probably just get rid of the bye.
Mm.
So I just don't see the NFL doing enough to where they're, if there's, hopefully there isn't an outbreak. Hopefully there's enough of the players and the coaches taking enough responsibility to not have any outbreaks, right? Try their best to do that, because obviously they have the corona exempt list or something, like, it's basically like a non-injury related inactiveness. So, and COVID is one of those, so it has its own thing. And then they're definitely gonna still try to do a season. A lot of people were talking about, well, what about it's gonna affect the
draft?
No, not even the draft, the cap. And I'm like, you guys act like the cap is written into like federal law. It's their own bye rules, so they will easily change those rules next year, so it doesn't affect them in such a negative way.
And
so,
other leagues are adapting, so there's no reason why they can't.
So, anyways, so come September, hopefully that means in next month, actually
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah. So September. What's today's date?
No, in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
No, the first full game is September 11th, September 10th.
Oh, that's right. It's Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans, no, or Baltimore Ravens?
I don't know. I don't know who they're playing, but it should be fun.
All right. Well, we'll definitely have a episode on that.
Yeah.
So